I gotta say, I don't think "start that game, Cat's Pajamas" is gonna catch on as like a phrase that's said a lot. But
maybe if esports got popular in the 1950s.
I don't know. That's right. Start that game, Cat's Pajamas. That's my 1950s voice. Is that pretty good?
Start that game, Cat's Pajamas. That's
right.
He's coming down the track on the left side. We see Running Bear right behind Revival. Revival coming around the left. State chasing up from behind.
Wow.
That's my best, like, horse announcer voice.
Or Caldor impression, one of the two.
Oh, that would be more like, salute, this is all clumped up. Ah. That was actually terrible. Oh, God, Caldor's going to kill me now. He's actually going to hunt me down and kill me. Anyway, guys, I have to make introductions.
I like Caldor. I've gotten so out of shape since I've been not going to the gym with Caldor anymore since I got back from Korea. But anyway, I digress.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Down here in the bottom right-hand corner of Calm Before the Storm, we have our big Protoss player from Vile. That is State. And his opponent in the top left-hand corner, the fourth TSL Zerg we have seen in a row. It is our red Zerg player, Revival. Speaking of in shape, down 52 pounds and joined a gym today. So, boom.
Sweet.
Getting there.
I'm doing push-ups in my apartment.
That's good, though, honestly. So, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
That's right. I'm going to basically just get like a bunch of boxes of StarCraft 2, fill it with gravel after I've taken the CDs out, make it into an improvisational barbell type thing.
Yes.
With that,
much
buff me up.
Much cooler than milk jugs filled with sand.
I'll just think to myself, Blizzard is buffing me.
I always do like the workouts that are inspired by how you play in ladder. If you do such and such, then you have to do so many crunches or push-ups or things like that. So
that always ends up being that Rage comic where the guy is like me after I did this, and it's like some huge like muscle-bound monstrosity, and that's right.
Hey, man, if that gets me to Masters and that gets me in shape, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Hatch first for Revival, actually, coming out. Now, the reason that this is okay to do on this map is because that hatchery is back on the low ground, so it's pretty easy to get in there and make sure that the drone doesn't cannon you or anything like that.
And let's go ahead and see here. I just want to mention the Caldor comment. That was actually one of our top 5 plays, and that's precisely what he said in that. So
really?
That's why I had to say it, yes. So watch our top 5 plays. You'll witness that beautiful commentary from Caldor there. Yep. So Photon Cannon up at the back. Interesting wall there for State.
I will agree with Reddit that he does indeed look like a hitman on the GSL, though.
He does. He frightens me. His appearance, I'm just like, he would just snap me in half. He would actually snap me in half. I don't care how big I am, he would snap me in half.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah. He seems like one of those guys who's like, because he's super passionate about the game, which is awesome.
Yeah.
He seems like one of those guys who's like, could just cast this ridiculous exterior, this demeanor, look like a thug on the street, but then he's just this big, lovable, huggable guy inside.
Well, I don't know if I'd call him huggable, but
he's not huggable.
He's a friendly guy.
My illusions are now shattered.
So, fast third hatchery from Revival, so it will be kind of a version of that 3-hatch build without gas. He does have 3 hatches and no gas, but he did get his first initial hatch first before his pool, so just a little bit more economical way of doing that. And this is one of the few maps you can actually get away with it on, so we can kind of see why he decided to pick it. I feel like if Zerg can get this type of opening off without taking any sort of early damage, if they can stay safe and drone up like they want to, it can lead to a very, very strong mid-game, which is why we see a lot of Zergs doing it. So Revival just really trying to put himself in a position to have a very strong mid and late game on this big map.
And State deciding to take that natural outside of his main is actually going to offer him a pretty secure third whenever he wants to take it. So he won't be starved out of this game for a long time. We'll see how he wants to follow this up. +1 is already on the way, of course. Circling goes down in the middle of the map, and we'll see how many gateways he wants to put down afterwards, or if he's going to opt for a little bit of tech instead.
Yeah, could also just expand, too. We'll have to wait and see. And I really feel like there's no reason not to take your expansion on the low ground like this. I mean, it's so easily defendable on this map. This isn't like Crevasse where your natural on the low ground is way wide open. This is Calm Before the Storm, so you've got a pretty narrow choke. Yep, 3 more gateways going down. So it looks like we are going to see a 4th, so we'll go up to 5 gates. No, a Twilight Council. Okay, so 4 gates and a Twilight Council, and he is saving up a lot of gas. Could this be Dark Templar?
Well, we'll find out here. Maybe another Charge-Led Archon build as well?
No third and fourth gas, though, quite yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's very, very good point. So we'll see if he wants to opt for those here momentarily. And those Zealots are not quite +1. Still a little bit much from where they were attacking for those Zerglings to handle. State actually going to move out a little bit further, force Revival back. Now Revival trying to attack. State continuing to kite with those Zealots. Kills a couple of Zerglings there, but +1 still about 15 seconds away from finishing.
Yeah, that's right. And there's the Dark Shrine. I had a feeling, yeah. Vile.State going for the DTs here. Basically, with this build that Zerg is doing, you have until at the very earliest, all right, trying to micro against these Zealots. That's more important here, and he's doing a good job of it.
Yeah, yes, he is, as a matter of fact. And a lot of Zerglings are going down there, but State will eventually get that cleaned up.
Nice job.
And look at this. Already a bunch of roaches coming out for Revival.
Yeah, what I was mentioning is that with this build, you usually have until about the 8-minute mark minimum if you want to get in there with DTs before they have any sort of detection, because usually the Evolution Chamber comes up around the same time as the Roach Warren and the Lair. As you can see, these units getting out there a little bit later, but that's okay because there's there's an Overseer on the way, though, so Revival should be ready for it. Oh, and he finds the pylon. Yeah, this is not going terribly well. In fact, he finds both pylons for State, so I don't think these DTs are going to do any damage, man.
Oh, no, and now State is down to... He's, been saving up resources, of course, and investing in tech, so he's at half the supply of his opponent already.
There's an Overlord in his main, too, actually. It's about to see the one at the bottom left.
There it is.
Moving in. Oh, he was checking for the expansion. Okay, I was wondering if he was going to move in and see the Dark Shrine. He's not. But I think he's got a pretty good idea about what's going on here.
And here come the DTs, pushing their way up through the front. We have Ventral Sacks already on the way. Revival has been macroing like mad this game. And look at that. DTs are pushed away. Don't care what DPS they have. They're not going to kill that many roaches.
Yep, definitely not. Definitely not. So Blink on the way now for State. As you can see, didn't invest a whole lot into those DTs. The Dark Shrine itself is expensive and takes a long time, but he's not too far, out in this one. I mean, yeah, he's got about half the supply of his opponent, but he's still got a pretty secure natural, so he's not out of the game quite yet.
And let's see, these DTs are just posturing around at the moment, checking for, or taking map control, checking for ancillary expansions, tech, things, whatever. While State tries to get on his feet, because right now his opponent is at 141 supply at the moment. Again, just macroing so well off of these cheap roaches.
Yeah, you can do quite a bit with the DTs, even if you can't get in there and do initial damage as well. You can control other expansions, like we'll probably see. Yeah.
Well, let's see here now as DTs are patrolling back and forth on different sides of the map. They'll be able to dispatch of drones very, very quickly. State, though, he is finishing up +3 weapons, or starting +3 weapons, I should say. Blink is on the way as well, along with a Robo, but still just sitting on 2 bases. He did finally clean up this Overlord on the left, so he'll be able to have a 3rd base momentarily.
Now, one thing we hadn't mentioned yet about Revival is that he is getting drop, actually, for his Overlords. Now, one thing that Revival was known for in his early career in StarCraft 2 last year was doing a lot of Overlord drop play, especially against Terran. He loved to do Roach drops against Terran, but he also likes to drop against Protoss as well. So Revival going back to a bit of his old style here, and I've got a feeling we're going to see some Roaches dropped in there. They're also going to have Burrow as well. This is going to be very, very annoying for State to deal with, potentially.
Yeah, unfortunately that DT does serve as early detection, but goes down very quickly.
Doesn't see all the Overlords, though, so he doesn't really know that it's going to be the drop play quite yet.
That's very, very true. He has a Robotics Bay on the way now, with an Observer as well. But let's see here. The Overlord's already tagging along behind. Not quite yet. Looks like they're all flying in a clump. Nicely formed square there at the back.
And is he going to push the natural? Let's see. Okay, he is going to poke at the natural just a little bit. Feign that, and then he's probably going to drop on the high ground with the rest of the roaches. Or, wow, is he actually just really committing to this?
He might. He's maxed, and he's making a Hydralisk Den, and he's got a ton of resources as well. He is macroed so well. He was maxed at 1230, and at the 13-minute mark, he's maxed and has 1,800, 900 banked.
Well, you can certainly see why he wanted this map, man. I mean, you can get maxed so quickly, and yeah, he's just going to draw everything down to the natural, threaten there, and then drop in the main. And State's going to need to be very careful about how he deals with this.
All right, well, here come our first few units out. So they're going to go after a lot of critical tech. State trying to go after a couple of overlords there, but all the units have already dropped down. They're inside of the main. He loses a lot of his defensive position. We have more units being made all the time for Revival. He's got so many resources banked at the moment, even though these are pretty cheap roaches that aren't terribly well upgraded, and they're not going to trade the most cost-effective with all of this. He can replenish so quickly.
Yeah, Blink is finished. +2 is about to finish as well. The Colossus pops out, so it doesn't look like Revival going to kill State right away with this, but he's certainly going to lose a ton. In fact, actually, he may actually just kill State with this. It looks like there's still a bunch of roaches in the main, killing a lot of production buildings. Yeah, there we go. This is not looking very, very good for State at all. 20-something more roaches on the way.
Wow.
Supply more than doubling State right now. What a crazy awesome game from Revival.
That was actually an incredible display of macro ability there. I mean, Revival is maxed so quickly. He drops just the right time. What amazing play. State trying his best to hold on with all he's got, but look at the stream of roaches making their way out right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way out of this for Vile.State, unfortunately. So it looks like TSL is going to survive and advance to the next round in our losers bracket here, and Vile is out. GG, there it is, and State knocked out, and therefore Vile knocked out of Team Arena Challenge number 2. TSL Revival. Wow, TSL in general just showing off the strength of their Zerg players here today.